there's a lot of noise about this team early and how you started the season. And with it being Mental Health Awareness Month, I'm just curious how you as a coach approach that, you know, when that can get hard mentally, and how you impart that not only to yourself, but to your players too.
Yeah, I was unfortunately in a situation when I was coaching at Northwestern where we lost one of our players in the middle of our season. And so I've that heightened my alertness to how to communicate in a certain way with players. And so since that moment, January 9th, I'll never forget it. I made a vow to talk to players differently. It's not just about basketball, and I take that real seriously. Yeah, I mean, what our players are feeling right now, it's something they've never felt before. And you have to make sure that we're taking care of them. And I do every day try to touch base with all of them about where they are, and not just basketball, just in life.
Oh, go ahead.
You talked Thursday about having a tough film session from that game. Just what did you take from that film for today?
Yeah, I mean, the word for today is compete with our players. They're trying to figure it out. We're trying to figure it out. Laid a really good foundation last year, added some big pieces, and it's a process. And I know everybody wants us to be really, really good now, and that just isn't how it works. We're striving to be what Minnesota and what Las Vegas is now after 2 first-round picks and Vegas with 3, and it took them time. So now with, the eyes on us, the pressure's different. And but it's still, you can't skip steps, and it's a process.
Second row in the middle.
So I know in the preseason, with all the offensive talent you have trying to figure things out, you're pushing on the pace, you're setting a lot of high ball screens. I'm wondering, in terms of relieving pressure, in terms of trying to create space, especially with what you saw against this defense at home, how you're looking at, adjusting ball screen angles and adjusting the depth of the defense, considering, what your handlers have been comfortable with in the past.
Yeah, so we've got to do a much better job in our ball screens, setting them first, making sure we're setting good ball screens. We were able to show a lot of ones after the game the other night where our angles were bad, but also it's part of the ball handler or the cutter as well. They've got to wait. Like, you've got to wait on your screen to get there, and you've got to, it's all timing. Again, we're 12, 13 practices into this with a new team, so that's going to come, and that takes time. We only made contact on about 46% of our screens the other night. That's unacceptable. New York made contact on 72, I think. So, we're able to get all this great information and data. And when we're able to show our players this, it really helps. So it's both. It's the screens and it's the setup.
Third row in the middle, then we'll go in the front here.
There was one play in the first half where Caitlin was coming around the screen, and there was like a slip opportunity, and the coaching staff kind of jumped at it and kind of faded away. How much of the offense is just about capitalizing on the natural advantages that come with Caitlin's gravity, and how confident are you that the players will get there over time?
Yeah, I'm very confident. I've got a room full of talented players, young talented players that have played together for a couple weeks now. That's timing. All those actions are timing, and so we're going to get there. I mean, we don't have a lot of time to practice playing every other day, but we'll get there. They will get there.
Go ahead.
Hey, Coach Doug Farmer. 2-part question. The first one is, I know you can't control the schedule, but you say to your team about, hey, you have a brutal stretch to start with playing top 3 teams a couple times. Second part is, if you had a player named Smith who had 14.5, 4.5, 3.5 in the first 2 games, would you be okay? That's a pretty good start.
Yeah, the first part of that, all I'm asking them to do is get out and compete. Like, New York is a championship team, a finals team. Connecticut is right there with them. All I'm asking my young players to do is to go out and play as hard as they can and compete against the best, because that's what you have to do to become that. And we didn't do that the other night. The second part of your question was 14 points. How many and how many?
I mean, so Brandon Anderson and Clark is averaging 14.5 points, 4.5 assists, 3.5 rebounds.
Yeah.
In the first 2
I just wanted to make sure I was understanding your question. Yeah. I mean, especially if that's a rookie coming in and never played in this league, just finished their college career, hasn't played against the athletic, physical, long, aggressive, players that she's playing against now. I think that's a great start. And, she's only gonna get better. Again, it's a process for rookies coming into this league. It just is. And she's handling it awesome. I mean, she's working really hard. She's trying to learn the league and the players and our system.
Alexa, go ahead.
You can see, how would you describe the way the teams responded? I know you haven't had a lot of practice time, but in film sessions or, when you're able to get on the court, what have they just been able to take so far and just even just the mood or the vibe that you see from them in terms of responding from last game?
Yeah, I'll say it. I say it all the time. I have a great group of 12 players in that locker room. We start with culture, and character drives your culture. So if you don't have the right people that have the right character in your room, that wouldn't be very fun, especially when hard times are hitting like they are right now. I mean, it's tough. We've tried to prepare them, but there's no preparing for Stewie and Laney and Sluty and Jacquel and AT and Bonner. Like, these are the best players in the world. And so just the experience is going to help them grow for us for later on when it all starts coming together.
Okay, front row.
Title for the Philadelphia Choir plays off that, but I realize a lot of it, she's a bit on the same subject. Those of us who were on the outside, maybe we're just watching on TV the last couple of games, saw some frustration. So how do you manage that as the coach? Do you let her be frustrated? Do you try to talk her out of it? How do you balance that?
Yeah, no, we communicate. We talk every day after game days and just try to walk through. We show her a lot of video. Our coaches do a really good job. Jessie Miller is kind of her coach, and her position coach shows her a lot of video. But right now, that's all we can really do. I mean, we've hit the ground running, and now we don't have a lot of time to put practice into that. So, but she's a student of the game. I mean, she wants to get better. She wants to learn. She's, again, Kaylin is going to be fine. She's going to be fine. She is a great player. But again, it's process.
You got one more, Ben?
Because you're not the only team that who's had a home and home to start the year. I guess in a vacuum, do you like having a home and home so early in the year for a young team because you can, immediately cite, the film 2 days ago, or would you rather see, 3 new opponents in 3 games or 4 and 4?
Yeah. Well, as an assistant coach, when you're doing all the scouting, you really love the, home and away game because you're prepared and you just have to correct from the game before. Right now, I don't really have I'm just trying to keep our players in a good state of mind and not let them feel, there's a lot of pressure on them, trying to keep them uplifted. We're growing, keep harping on this is a process. So right now, what's been thrown at us, I think they're handling it really well. I mean, they weren't happy at all about what it looked like night before last. If they would have been, that would have not felt good for the coaching staff. So they want to get better. They want to learn.